What's up, welcome back to Nowstalgia. Today, here with a review of Scarlet, the new anime film from Mamoru Hosoda, one of our great anime auteurs. His first film since Bell came out back in 2021. This film premiered back in Venice earlier this year and is now getting a release from Sony Pictures Classics in the States. It actually released via Toho back in Japan last month. It only got a 1 week, 10-city release here in the States in December and will be getting a full wide release on February 6th of next year. So a bit of a wait for most people to get a chance to see this. I was actually surprised that the 1 week qualifying run that they did in December for Oscar Awards qualifying purposes, I was actually surprised it was as big as it is. Usually a run like that is only strictly New York City and LA, but thankfully it was a little more expansive. I was able to see the movie. I, of course, am a fan of Hosoda just because he's one of the unique anime film auteurs that we have. You would think of him alongside Hideki Anno, Makoto Shinkai, of course, our Ghibli legends that we've known forever. And Scarlet's pretty notable because it's being ascribed to and certainly begins as a clear riff on William Shakespeare's Hamlet. And that stands out because Hosoda's last film, Belle, was a clear riff, an interpretation of Beauty and the Beast. So clearly he's in this mode of reinterpretation right now. And Scarlet actually took longer to come to the screen than his works usually take, 4.5 years to complete this one. And that makes a lot of sense when you watch this movie because there are certain sections of Scarlet where the animation style really pops. I mean, there is some richness and detail and texture to this animation that you just don't get all that often, and it looks really great. Mamoru Hosoda's Scarlet is a ambitious anime retelling of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. This film starts off incredibly strong, but ultimately runs out of gas by the end. After losing her father to her ambitious uncle in very Hamlet fashion, our lead character Scarlet actually dies of poisoning and wakes up in this purgatory otherworld, where she seeks to get revenge on her treasonous uncle. The early Hamlet themes and interpretation are there and they are strong. However, the film really takes on a new shape when Scarlet encounters Hijiri, a paramedic from modern times who has also found himself in this netherworld after dying. And Scarlet's vengeance with Hijiri's innocence and desire to protect life via his work's purpose. That clash becomes a shared quest as they get closer together and they begin to both of them begin to rethink how they view the world. There's a lot of cool sequences here. I think in particular there's a large battle sequence towards the end that is pretty powerful and strong imagery. There's good stuff in here. I just think narratively the film kind of falls apart. It gets just a little thin by the end, and it also is a pretty long film. It kind of drags by the end. You're kind of ready for it to progress, but I certainly appreciate the swing, and I think something this ambitious should still be celebrated, and I'm very much looking forward to Hosoda's next work. I'll be curious if this gets awards attention. It's certainly contending for a Best Animated Feature nomination. There's only a handful of spots really up for grabs, seemingly, this year, with K-Pop Demon Hunters, Zootopia 2, the two French movies, Arco and La Amélie. It looks like those four are all going to get through. So Scarlet's, competing with Pixar's Elio and a few other movies to try and get through here. And, Hosoda does have a history at the Oscars. Of course, his movie before Belle, Mirai, from 2018, that was nominated. So there's a chance. And I'd be rooting for it because even though I didn't totally love the movie, I do think it still is trying to accomplish a lot, which is not as common for the traditional animated film. I should also mention it's competing against Demon Slayer for one of those spots as well. In terms of just sequences I really liked the caravan sequence when we meet them and they get attacked by the bandits, all that stuff. The movie kind of goes through a similar structure where her treasonous uncle Claudius, who also finds himself in the netherworld after he has also died in real life, his goons get sent after Scarlet one by one. And how those sequences go, both the violence and then the connection between them, I think those sequences are really strong. Some of the best dramatic stuff in the movie. And then whenever we have one of those sequences, there's always a slowdown, a denouement for a little bit. And one of those is that caravan sequence where they kind of connect with them, and Hijiri's doing his medical work and earning their trust, and they're dancing and playing music. I think those scenes are cool. There's some wild visual stuff. There was a sequence where Scarlet finds herself in the present day, obviously that she has no knowledge of, coming from 16th century Denmark or wherever it was. And you see her as a modern girl dancing in the street to a festival. And it's cool imagery. I just don't know if it like totally fully connects. I think everything early on, like the traditional like Hamlet setup, I really like that stuff. You know, the evil mom, the treasonous uncle, the really good dad who gets betrayed despite being loved by his people. All that stuff is classic, but works. The scene in the beginning when Scarlet attempts to kill her uncle and actually gets poisoned by him instead, I think all that was really good too. And then that big battle scene at the end, as I mentioned, very like Crusades, very Kingdom of Heaven coded. Impressive. I liked it. I don't think the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern like third act drop in worked all that much. They just were pretty underutilized as like a late breaking Hamlet reference to throw into the movie. I that just didn't really land for me. And then visually, I mean, there's this sequence where this like dragon ship / real dragon appears out of the sky with this crazy lightning storm and then like strikes down certain bad characters via like Godzilla, you know, like lightning, like laser breath. That shit was really cool. The music at that time was awesome. So shout out to Scarlet. I think the movie is interesting and certainly worth a watch, and animation quality is very strong. Narratively doesn't fully come together for me, but still a movie worth checking out and unique in any given year when you think about anime film. Let me know, though, what'd you think of Scarlet? What'd you like most about it? If you haven't seen it, what are you looking forward to most? And for more movie reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.